In England alone, in 2017, there were 2,217 actual fires in business like ours attended to by the fire service. These fires resulted in 1 fatality and 158 injuries. Shockingly, 290 of these fires were started deliberately, 13%, so we must always guard against the risk of arson in our business. The rest of the fires were caused by the failure of equipment or human error. The purpose of this refresher training video is to help us to be proactive, to reduce the risk of fire occurring, and to be prepared, to know the emergency evacuation plan so that if a fire does occur, we know what to do and we minimise the risk of injuries occurring and keep our customers and colleagues safe. In this video, we will cover how fire works, preventing fires, and our emergency evacuation plan. How fire works. Fire is a chemical reaction between the 3 elements of heat, fuel, and oxygen. Fires will continue to burn as long as these 3 elements are present. It can only be extinguished when one of 3 things occur. The oxygen is depleted, the heat is removed, or the fuel is consumed. Fires start with heat, which serves as a source of ignition such as open flames, discarded cigarettes and matches, or electrical faults. Then, with a source of fuel and sufficient oxygen, the fire will burn. Understanding this helps us to think about fire prevention. There are many sources of heat, fuel and oxygen in our business, so the risk of fire is high. But we can all take steps to help prevent fire. General good housekeeping, making sure that rubbish is frequently collected and taken and stored safely in the outside bin area ready for collection. Safe use of electrical appliances, not overloading electrical sockets and reporting any loose wires or signs of unusual heat generation to the manager immediately. Making sure that combustible items are safely stored. Paperwork, cleaning chemicals, linen, etc. all needs to be stored safely away from sources of heat. In kitchens, making sure that cooking equipment is kept clean and grease is not allowed to build up, making sure that pans, grills and fryers are not left on the heat or turned up high when they're unattended. Checking hair dryers and tumble dryers for the build-up of lint and putting washing on short drying cycles and never left running overnight. And if you smoke, only smoking in the designated area and safely extinguishing and disposing of cigarette ends and matches. All of our businesses are provided with automatic fire detection and warning systems as well as firefighting equipment. Your manager will test all this equipment on a regular basis to make sure it works properly. We also get a specialist contractor to visit regularly to check everything and keep it maintained. The building is planned and built to provide escape routes and exits in case of fire, and these are marked by fire safety signs. Preventing the spread of fire through the building is achieved by fire-resisting walls and floors and by self-closing fire doors. We can all play our part by making sure that the escape routes and exits are never blocked or locked, fire safety signs and call points are not obscured, and fire doors are not wedged or propped open. It is vitally important that we all know what to do if we discover a fire. What you must do will vary depending on your job role, but in summary, we must raise the alarm by activating the nearest fire alarm call point. Don't assume that somebody else will do it. Call 999 and request the fire service immediately. All fires must be reported regardless of size. Be prepared to give the pub's name, address and postcode. Evacuate the building via the nearest safe exit, assisting customers along the way, and go to the assembly point and wait for a roll call and further instructions. When you hear the fire alarm in the pub, if you're working in the kitchen, stop all cooking, Operate the power shut-off switch to shut down all kitchen appliances, and using the nearest safe exit, make your way to the assembly point. If you're working behind the bar or front of house, stop what you're doing and evacuate using the nearest safe exit and assist and direct customers as we leave. If you are part of the hotel team and you hear the fire alarm sound, we must move all our equipment, linen, etc. into the nearest vacant room or linen room, closing the door behind you. Make sure the corridor that we're working in is completely clear of any clutter so that nothing interferes with the escape route. If we meet any customers, we should assist and direct them to the way out and then make your way to the assembly point directly using the nearest safe exit. For all team members, once at the assembly point, gather quietly for a roll call and wait instructions from the person in charge. If you are asked, you may be required to assist in the evacuation of disabled customers if it is safe to do so. Whilst we are at the assembly point, we must not smoke, discuss the evacuation amongst ourselves or wander off. We must maintain a professional manner at all times. Do not re-enter the building until the fire marshal or fire officer has issued you the all clear. Remember that customers will be anxious or annoyed by the evacuation. By showing that we are professional and we know what we're doing, we'll reassure them that they're being looked after and calm any anger. If it turns out to be a false alarm and we're given the all clear to re-enter the building, remember that customers are likely to be a bit annoyed, particularly hotel guests who've had their sleep disturbed in the middle of the night, or customers in the pub who are in the middle of a meal. Be sympathetic, reassure customers that their safety is our number one priority and we must not take any chances. Apologise for their inconvenience. When re-entering, hold open doors for customers and assist them in any way you can until all customers are back inside before returning to work. Kitchen teams, when back in the kitchen, cooking may resume. Destroy all partly cooked food and restart all orders. Document all waste food. Hotel teams, if the evacuation was in the middle of the night, make sure that someone is on reception in the morning to apologise to customers for their inconvenience. Extinguishing fires should only be attempted if it is safe to do so. Never put yourself in danger. Our priority is the safe evacuation of the building. Tackling a fire should only be attempted after first raising the alarm, if you are safe from toxic smoke, if you keep your escape route behind you at all times, if you have the correct fire extinguisher for the type of fire at hand, and if the fire is small and contained, the size of a burning waste paper basket. Remember, it only takes a few seconds for a small fire to get out of control, and fire extinguishers only last for a few seconds. You must never attempt to tackle a fire if you're a lone worker and there are no other team members around. In this video we have covered how fire works, preventing fires, and our emergency evacuation plan. We now know how fire starts and what we can do every day to prevent fires. When people hear fire alarms, they generally ignore them. People only panic when they actually see or smell physical evidence of a fire, and hopefully we will have evacuated the building before it reaches this stage. The purpose of fire training is so that we understand our role in an emergency and know how to get everyone out of the building swiftly, assertively, and with a minimum of fuss. All pubs will carry out a fire drill at least once every 6 months, and pubs with hotels will complete fire drills every 3 months. Thank you for your attention and please stay safe.